about Oasis? What makes this band from Manchester so special? And what has been their story up until now? Obviously, we've heard in the news Oasis are back together and they're performing live, so it is the perfect time to dive into their story. My name's John. Welcome back or welcome to my channel, John Repeat, where I react to iconic music, artist albums, and other bits and pieces and put stuff on repeat. So if you don't know who Oasis are, they are a Britpop band from the 90s, one of the most defining bands of that era, with their energy, with their introspective lyrics, and they have some absolute iconic songs that are known throughout the world and British culture today. The first song I'm going to be diving into is their debut single, Supersonic, from their debut album, Definitely Maybe, in 1994. Let's start. So nice! I just love their energy. There's so much swagger there. There's so much rock and roll. It is like so funny. And I love the addition of like the gin and tonic as well. It's like British culture, you know, you're like the Weatherspoons, get me a G&T, I'm feeling supersonic, I'm just being myself. And it's that individualism that really set them apart as a band. The Yellow Submarine, yeah, so 90s Britpop was inspired by like 60s British music, so that's like the Beatles and stuff, so that's why you've got that reference to the Yellow Submarine. Obviously them being from Liverpool, Oasis from Manchester, there's obviously that link there. Love it. That's an interesting set of lines, because no one's going to tell you what I'm on about. You need to find a way for what you want to say. He lives under a waterfall. Nobody can see him. Nobody can ever hear him call. Is he talking about death? Like, is he talking about, like, you've got to be yourself and be comfortable in you because, like, you may die tomorrow? Is that what he's kind of mentioning? I know Oasis have a lot of, like, very abstract lyrics that can be interpreted from like a perspective of like hope and optimism, and also like a commentary and like disillusionment and stuff. So I suppose it could mean that. Come on, all the cocaine references, let's go. The accents just make it as well. See, I've heard this song, but I did not know that this was their debut single, and that makes it so interesting, knowing like where they come from. This is like their first sort of introduction to the world, and it's so like full of that bravado and personality, and you've got all of the accents, and it's so iconic. They've got such a strong brand. I mean, I think this song just like encapsulates the energy of them and that rebellious nature. Okay, so the next one is Live Forever from the same album. Such an iconic set of lines! I think that this kind of evokes like a sense of ambition. I don't want to know how your garden grows. I don't want to know about your tulips, Mary. I just want to know, I just want to fly. I just want to escape. And, you know, I know a lot of Britpop music has lyrics regarding like low, like working class people within like UK, talking about like narratives and struggles and things like that. And that's a common thing of like when you're in like poverty and when you don't have a lot of money, that need to like escape. So I think it kind of evokes that spirit as well. I love that. I just love the accent. I love that the message is very much maybe we see things the same way. Maybe you realize that this society isn't perfect. Maybe you want to escape with me. When you find somebody that you have that connection with and and understands you, it's priceless. That's really interesting as well. Maybe I will never be all the things that I want to be. Now is not the time to cry. Now's the time to find out why. Interesting, like, the idea of like fate and destiny, and it seems like that powering through to the future without necessarily dwelling on why you're not where you want to be. It's very interesting, introspective lyrics. It's just so iconic, isn't it? I think it also evokes a sense of youth and like rebellious youth and fighting against that negativity in the world and like that pessimism and like that hope for the beauty of the future, which so many people needed at that time. So the next song is arguably one of the most famous songs they've done. It's from What's the Story? Morning Glory, 1995. It is Wonderwall. So iconic! You cannot go to any karaoke bar without people singing this song. You cannot go to any club at 3 a.m. when, you know, the music's dying down where people are not singing this song. This is such a staple within British culture and globally. I love those violins as well. I think they're so Britpop. It gives the energy of like Bittersweet Symphony, and obviously I know that was like after the period, but it gives that same vibe. I think that those first verses are kind of like about that unrequited love. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. It's like the narrator clearly is interested and cares about this person that he's talking about. And again, he reiterates, I don't believe that anybody feels the way I feel about you now. And he's talking about like her spirit being down, but he's basically saying that I love you in spite of that. I think he's talking about life. The roads we walk down, the lights are blinding. It's a very difficult, struggling journey. And this is somebody who doesn't know how to express how he feels about this person, but this person's ultimately he believes is like his salvation, which is so sweet. So, get the lighters out. I like how that switches the perspective again. So originally it was, and by now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do, so what you have to do, and by now you should have somehow realized what you're not to do. So it's switching that line a little bit to keep us engaged more, you know. I think he's very good at saying how he feels, just in a very abstract way. Oh, I suppose what could a Wonderwall mean? When you think of a wall, you think of something hard, you think of something sturdy, you think of something that holds something together, and you're in wonder at it. So maybe he's like really in awe and proud of this person for the way that they're moving through life, and it inspires him to keep going as well. I love the echo there. And it reiterates that line at the end to like keep that in the front of our minds, that this person means that much and that they inspire them that much. Amazing. So the next song I'll listen to is Don't Look Back in Anger from the same album. I love that. Step outside, summertime's in bloom. Again, you evoke that visual. I love a visual. So this is very optimistic, and if you compare this with 90s American rock and roll and things like that, was all very like deep and miserable. Not always, but like, you know, you've got that contrast there of the different sort of outlooks and perspective. This is so uplifting, saying like, step outside, the world's beautiful, take that look from off your face. You're never going to burn my heart out. You got to keep going, you got to keep pushing forward. And, you know, it's all in your head that you can have a better life. You just got to work for it. Who is this Sally lady? Can you let me know in the comments who this is? The way I would interpret that, you know, this is a potential from reading it. Maybe it's a past relationship. She knows it's too late for them to get back together, maybe. So her soul slides away from his life. But don't look back in anger, I heard you say. Like, don't, like, look back on the negatives. Think about the positives, maybe. Or maybe it's somebody from, like, pop culture I just don't know about. Maybe it's something completely different. I suppose you can interpret it in a lot of different ways. Yes, I think I read that as like kind of a critique of like people depending on them for like everything, like every word, and believing that they're like the gospel truths of everything. And he's like, don't put all your life in my hands. Like, I'm just talking from my experience. You do whatever you want. That's how I would view it, but I may be wrong. I love that line because you said the brains I had went to my head. He knows that he's smart. He knows that he's clever. But I think that's kind of like a line that shows like the bravado as well, and that cockiness and that arrogance that people love Oasis for. Oh, gorgeous. It's just so positive. Oh, iconic guitar solo. Oh, wow. Where are we going? One thing I love about Oasis is there's such huge like sense of pride for Manchester, and then like the music scene in Manchester. Everybody just harkens back to it a lot. They've really had such a huge legacy in Manchester where they're from, and which must be so nice. And it's like repeating these lines all the time to like reiterate that message. I love how his vocals become softer. It's almost like he's speaking to himself. Perfect line choice at the end. At least not today. It's like you live to fight another day. So the penultimate song I'll be listening to is The Importance of Being Idle, and this is from their album that was released in 2005. So this shows their success post-90s. And this is from their album Don't Believe in Truth. I know this song! Sorry. You know, it's so interesting because I know Oasis. Obviously, I've heard the songs everywhere, but I didn't know the timeline. So I love doing these Who Is because it really helps in my mind see the evolution and the change. I love these vocals. They're really, really nice. Interesting title, The Importance of Being Idle. And this describes quite a lot of working class struggles within the economy, within like being poorer, struggling to pay rent, that relentless. They do say the only things that are true in life is that you'll die and that you'll pay taxes. So. As long as there's a bed beneath the stars that shine, I love a visual, I love that image. It's giving the idea of somebody just like out on the lam, lying on a mattress looking up at the stars. That's how I see that in my mind. And Again, it evokes that sense of hedonism that we see earlier in the discography. I love that line as well. I can't get a life if my heart's not in it. So many people want you to live a specific life that they've designed for you. And he's saying no. Like, I want to feel passionate in life. I want to feel like my life is meaningful. And so if I'm poor and I'm whatever, I don't care about that. I want to live authentic to me. So we've got all of this visual imagery to symbolize the narrator's depression, the narrator's dissatisfaction and disillusionment with life. Obviously, within the songs, summertime symbolizes happy times, and it's pathetic fallacy. He's using that rain to symbolize the negatives. It's interesting seeing that in the previous discography, how summertime was used, like don't look back in anger, you know, as a form of positive, as believing in the positivity of life, and this narrator is clearly wavering over that. Because doesn't a line mean like coke? Is that the cocaine? So I'm confused with the doctor. Is the doctor not a real doctor? I don't know. Or maybe it's some medication I don't understand. Yes! I like the percussion as well. It's almost like the beat of a march, of that regimented march of like life and feeling trapped in that. The final song I'll be listening to is Falling Down from Oasis in 2008. This was the last single before they broke up, which is quite ironic actually, because it's like falling down. You know, it's like the relationship broke down at that point and they separated. But obviously now they're cool. But like, it's very interesting. This is from Dig Out Your Soul, released in 2008. Let's go. That sounds like the whistling of a kettle. I know I did a reaction to Arcade Fire Funeral. I can link it in the description if you like. It gives that energy of one of the tracks on there. I love the way that it's using that instrumentation to symbolize the falling down. So this is again talking about the fatality of life, how everything dies, the end of the world, all of these deep introspective themes that we know Oasis for. Interesting again, summer being used. The summer sun, it blows my mind. It's falling down on all that I've ever known. It's almost like that positivity, those happy times, it's falling, they're going, and thinking about how life will end. Love that distortion, symbolizing obviously how everything in his life is falling apart and he feels that. We Live a Dying Dream. Interesting, this was released in 2008, because I know that there was obviously like the recession and everything like that. It's almost like reflective of that time of like the dream of like exponential growth dying in a way. I don't know if that was intentional, but I just think it's interesting. I love Catch the Wheel That Breaks the Butterfly. I think that's such an interesting image. When I think of butterflies, I think of like the butterfly effect. So I maybe would read that as like catch the wheel that breaks the butterfly. So like stop the wheel that's turning, like stop life and all the things that are happening. So the ultimate end effect of the world ending won't happen. That's how I would view it. Like he wants to prevent the butterfly effect and the relentless passage of time. That's how I would read it. I don't know if I'm right though. What would you think about that line? Oh my gosh. It's sad. I think it's a shame. Like, you see earlier in the discography, it's like those two brothers like fighting against the world, fighting against the negativity. And as we see, like, the discography and the lyrics, obviously only from these snapshot of songs, but they've kind of like got a lot darker. I wonder if the relationship between them kind of influenced the songwriting in a way and made it so dark. It's just sad. I think this is very of the time as well. It sounds very 2008. Wow, so that was it. That was my Who Was episode on Oasis. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments what you think about Oasis, their reunion. Are you excited as me? And yeah, let me know if there are any other bands, any other people you'd like me to do a deep dive into. If you like this, then please like and subscribe. It means the absolute world. It shows me that I'm doing a good job and it really supports me and my channel and my journey. And yeah, until next time, see you later. Bye. Bye.